Hi guys, thanks for checking the video out. Steve Buzza here. Today's video is an experiment. So here's my current putter, and I've been putting well. I'm actually really happy with how I've been playing. At Pinehurst I actually had a strokes gained putting stat that was like plus 2.5. You know, I've gained 2.5 shots on a Tour Pro. So it's going well. So this video isn't out of desperation, it's out of curiosity. I'm going to make an arm lock putter. So I have a putter in which I can bend. I have a guy that has the skill set in order to do it. So I'm very fortunate to be working here at Bonita Bay, and one of our club fitters, Brian, is taking on the task of actually building and making the changes that we need. So today's video is going to show you that process and kind of the tweaks that you need to make if you're going to do an arm lock. So if you're somebody that's thinking arm locking could be a way to really help, you've watched Kuchar and you think, yeah, that could be for me, there are a few changes that you need to make, not just making it longer. So I hope you enjoy. Super stroke, big boy, shaft, putter. I'm making an arm lock. Hopefully we don't snap it. There's a strong possibility we could though, isn't there, Bri?
Sorry, Megan.
Yeah, so I've borrowed a putter. So we're gonna put this as an extension, which we can get away with if you were using like a driver, for example. If you put an extension that was too long, it's probably not gonna work. But we're gonna put an extension in. Then the key thing when you're doing an arm lock is this putter here has probably got between 2 to 4 degrees. You know, we'll measure it in a second. We're going to need it 6, 7, 8.
Probably closer to 8.
Probably closer to 8.
Yeah.
So with this neck, could snap. So we will start with the easiest stuff, and then yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Don't snap. You'll get me in trouble. What are we using here? Epoxy resin?
Yeah, it's 510 epoxy, so we got 5 minutes of cure time, so to get it set how I want it, and then 10 minutes to dry. Okay, that's pretty good. And is this the stuff you have to mix it up? Yeah, so it won't start to cure till I mix it. They do have 24-hour bonding, but we don't have time for 24 hours. We don't have time. This is YouTube / a workshop. And when you do like standard shaft extensions in an iron, obviously you wouldn't be making an extension that's as long. Correct. But do you feel there's any difference between like using an old shaft compared to like a shaft extender? You know, like it depends how long the extension is. Okay. If I go more than an inch, I worry about the extension breaking. Okay. Because at that point, the player's hand, their top hand is going to be more on the extension than the shaft itself. Yeah, so putting loads of force through it. Correct, especially when it comes to graphite shafts. Ah, yeah, of course. So graphite shafts are the ones we mainly use. I'll use a regular graphite shaft as the extension versus a graphite plug. Oh, okay. Oh, so you think the shaft actually withstands it better than the plug? Correct. Ah, I did not know that. I've learned something. And what we have to be careful with this, so we're trying this experiment because you can arm lock, whereas obviously you're not allowed to anchor anymore. But if this goes past my forearm, the club becomes illegal. Is that correct? If it goes past the elbow, yeah. Past the elbow. So below the elbow we're fine. Okay. So that's if somebody's like maybe got a belly putter and they've decided to arm lock it. You could potentially do it if you can get somebody to change the loft, but that is one thing that you would have to look out for. Correct. As soon as it's touching your upper arm, you're getting DQ'd. So we've waited the 10 minutes. You don't use a stopwatch, do you? What do you use, Brian? I use Pandora. 3 songs and it's golden. Yeah, so we have just getting rid of the old tape from the shaft. So what we're doing, so the reason we're using this grip it doesn't have any taper, so it means I can like grip down the bottom and there's no problem. And this one as well, you can put a counterweight in. So because we're adding quite a bit of weight up to the top of the grip, it's going to change how the club feels. I'm quite fortunate that I tend to have like a light head weight, and it seems to be quite a heavy putter, so hopefully we're not going to need to like do any balancing. But it's an option with this grip, isn't it? Because we can literally just take the top off and shove things in or shove stuff down to the bottom. So something that we could do at a later date. Putter in the vise. So we've changed locations. We're in our GPL Golf Performance Lab. So we got the putt lab, and this is where I do the K vest as well. So we are using the loft line machine. And like this is a special one, so you need a different vise, don't you, for putters compared to irons?
Correct.
And I think a lot of places don't actually have the one for putters, so always good to ask your pro. But we're very fortunate that we have this one here. So a lot of the time we'll use our putt lab and bend and change the person there and there. Because I think loads of people still get their putters in and not custom fit. You know, the loft of a putter makes a massive difference. The lie's obviously going to affect how you set up. What's it currently?
We're at 3 degrees of loft and 68 degrees for the lie.
Okay.
So we probably need to get to
70. I would bend it to 70, and then we'll try. Well, I'll have a little play with it. I think it'll probably need to go to 71. Turned into Bryson. What does that setup look like?
It's pretty good. Once we add some more loft, it'll open it up a little bit.
You know, I've been playing around with some arm locks, and I have been feeling like I need them more upright. So it'd be interesting. But that's flat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could probably go down 1, do you think?
Yeah, I can put it to 73.
I think it needs to go to 73. But that's not far off at all. But because we're arm locking, the reason we need loft is effectively we're pulling it forward. So if we pull it forwards, the face is going to point down. So rather than trying to add it on, which would obviously defeat the whole object, we're going to start with a bit more loft. So then when we go forward, we're going to take the loft off. That's what Matt Kuchar does. So I think Matt Kuchar's is 7 or 8. But even like Phil Mickelson's not arm locking, but if you think he's got his massive forward press, he's been known to have sometimes up to, I think the highest he's been is like 9 degrees. So again, if you're watching this at home and you have a forward press, you might be needing a little more loft, and that's going to really transform how you get the ball rolling. I think too many people just have that standard loft, and then they have to manipulate. If you have a certain characteristic to your putting, change the putter to suit that. But let's take 1 degree off of here, and then we're going to have to really whack some loft. So far, we haven't had any breakage,
Not yet.
which is always a bonus. Would you, if a member came in and asked you to do this, would you do it? Or do you think this is a bit extreme?
I would do it after giving them the heads up that the club may break.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it if I'm not 100% sure I can do it, and if they're not okay with it breaking.
Yeah. And you need to make sure that they are actually genuine okay if it breaks. I think so many people go, yeah, I don't mind if it breaks, thinking that it probably won't.
Correct.
But this is quite an extreme change. If the shaft was straight through, do you think this would be a little too much to do?
Yes, I think it'd break pretty easily.
Yeah. So again,
when you're bending the loft, it's the opposite of what you think. So if you want to add loft, you bend it towards you. If you want to de-loft it, you actually bend it away from you.
Correct. Because the head itself is fixed. So I think when we're using it sometimes we think about it logically, but because the head is fixed, like you said, it's doing the opposites. Yeah, see, noticeable change there.
Yeah, it's more square to dress.
So here we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave it there for today. I am going to not only go on the putt lab, I'm going to test it against my current putter. You'll notice something here. I didn't bend either of my other two putters. So I have my Odyssey, I have my Adele. There's a good reason why I didn't bend them. They're actually pretty good putters and I putted well with them. Putting really well with my Odyssey at the minute, and I've putted well with my Adele in the past. If you come up with an idea like this, don't ruin your gamer, because once it's bent and once it's snapped, there's no going back. But this is our experiment. I would say success.
I would say success.
We haven't hit any putts yet, but it didn't break. You've made it well. Everything is in order. So we will do some testing. Probably going to have to take a bit more loft off. You know, I suppose that would be one. But we're going to test on the sand so we can then get an actual feeling of what is needed. So cheers for doing this, Brian.
My pleasure.
You've true gent. You know your stuff.
Sometimes.
Get some comments down below, guys. Have you thought about bending one of your current clubs to make it do something maybe completely different, like I've done here, or just a small change to alter your performance? With putters especially, I think too many people are using just standard stuff.
I think everything needs to be more customized.
Absolutely. Cheers, man.